my core, I'm a girl from the South Bronx who moved to Toronto, Canada at the age of 10 and grew up in poverty, where I intimately understood struggle and limitations, but couldn't accept the fact that's all life had for me. I was determined to find out what else there was to be experienced, lived, and learned. Today, as a Black, Hispanic entrepreneur, business executive, speaker, mentor, and single mother, I've had many wins and even more losses. And both have taught me life lessons that I am now ready to share with you. These conversations are going to be vulnerable, honest, and power-packed with wisdom that you'll be able to apply in your life, relationships, and business. So join me and my closest friends as we share how to unlearn the habits that keep us from discovering who we are at our core. And let's develop who we are meant to be and live on purpose. This is me, Sherri, Authentically.
What's going on, pretty girls? Look who I have.
Hello.
In the studio.
I'm usually in the background. This is very
Yes, this is wonderful. Come out from the shadows, Em. Come out from the shadows. Well, we are here today at the PrettyGirlsWork Prep Picnic, and we are live. Okay, live and direct. And so we're having a conversation today. We are definitely going to be talking about something that all of us, and I do mean all of us, all women, all entrepreneurs, all mothers, all men, everyone at some point in time is going to go fisticuffs with this thing, okay? And sometimes we win, sometimes it wins, right? But we're going to talk about how to overcome it and how to manage it, how to deal with it, and why actually it has so much power in our lives when we know the truth. We're talking about imposter syndrome today. Dun, dun, dun. And we are not here alone. We are here with some marvelous, marvelous women, also entrepreneurs, also business owners, also beautiful Black women, period. And we're going to be talking about this in an in-depth way. So I love the fact that Elle is here. The reason why Elle is here is because she's my girl. Okay, let's just keep it 100. And we have all kinds of conversations offline. We've spoken about this before so many times, and we're just like, and we're blessing each other in the conversation, and then we think to ourselves, like, why aren't we talking about this out loud? Like, why don't we just come to some spot and then just sit down and talk it out and share the conversation? So this is Sherri Authentically, y'all. I hope you're ready. Are you ready? I hope you're ready.
And the great thing about this episode too is because we're talking to you from the PGW Prep Picnic, we are actually in a room with a whole lot of women entrepreneurs who are going to be jumping on and asking their questions and sharing their experiences as they relate to this topic too, because we mentioned it in our Instagram Live last week as well, and we got a lot of response from that. This is definitely something that impacts so many women at so many levels of their career, but particularly women who are entrepreneurial and particularly women who are trying to reach levels of success that are maybe atypical for the environment that they're in. So we're excited to have that conversation with each other, but also excited to have that conversation with some of the women in this room.
I cannot wait. I love this type of interactive stuff because this is where you get the good stuff. This is where the real nuggets come out, So we're going to start the conversation by just talking about our own battles of imposter syndrome.
I'm going to apologize in advance for not staring at the camera too much because I feel like there are people around.
Yes.
And I'm going to look at the people.
You go ahead and look at the people. I'm going to look at you. She got them. I got you. Let's talk this up. No, for real, because imposter syndrome is something that we all battle at some point in time. Some of us battle it on a daily basis. Some of us battle it when we're about to take that next big step, in our careers. Some of us, it's got a certain time in our lives. Then we start thinking, I'm not sure. And it's a lot about self-doubt, yes, but it's also about, do we really truly, this is my question, right? This is the question just to start it off. Do we really know who we are? Do we really know who we are and what we bring? So earlier we were talking and introducing ourselves to everyone. And I was saying to Elle, I'm so happy that we're here and we're doing this. But this is something that Elle does. She just brings great people together. That's one of her gifts, right? And I knew that from the time I met her. And she just said, Pretty Girls Work is a blog. And I was like, oh, no. Pretty Girls Work isn't just a blog. Pretty Girls Work is a movement. That's exactly what I said. I said it's a bigger thing than what you think it is. Now, I'm not saying that she had imposter syndrome in that moment, but I feel like sometimes we don't necessarily know what we've got. And I question that. Why is that? Is it upbringing? Do we have not just our thoughts in our heads, but do we have our parents? Do we have our community? Do we have society? Who else is up in there? Who else is informing us as to who we are and what we are able to do, right? I think that the more we grow, I understand that upbringing plays a big part in it, I'll just say, and you guys should know this by now, you heard it in the intro, I grew up in the South Bronx. Both my parents were substance abusers. I didn't have a lot of people around me saying, you can do it. Like I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. I just didn't have that, right? And around me, people weren't doing it either. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have examples of it either. But there were glimpses. There were moments in my upbringing even in the midst of the abuse, even in the midst of the neglect, and all of the stuff that was going on, that there were people were put in my life in a moment, in a season, to say, hey, did you know this about you? Did you know that you're great at this? Did you know that this makes you special? Now, sometimes I listened. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was like, you're just saying that because you're nice. Or you're just saying that because you have to. Or, I made an excuse about it. But when I actually decided to listen, like the first time I heard something or experienced something like, this is who you are, when I was 8, it changed my life. It literally transformed me, right? And so I sit back and wonder, why don't we tell the truth? But more importantly, why don't we believe the truth about us? That's a question.
Yeah. No, I mean, you touched on a lot of things there that I think make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that I think kind of illustrate the fact that it is a topic that's so universal because we come from such different backgrounds.
Yes.
Because I did come from the background where I had people around me saying, you can do anything. Like to this day, I call my dad and I say, I just did this. And he says, I know.
Right.
He says, you could do more.
Right.
And still I dealt with imposter syndrome, even with talking about that PrettyGirlsWork blog conversation and whether or not you were feeling imposter syndrome in that moment. PrettyGirlsWork was born from the fact that I did not know who I was. And I did not know, not even that I didn't know who I was, but that I didn't know that I could be who I was in the industry that I was in. I'm in commercial real estate as an industry. So I did not know how who I was translated into the type of success that I was seeing around me. Mm-hmm. And so I did have a lot of noise in my head about what does success look like in this industry?
Right.
It looks like this and I don't look like that. So right. I need to shift and I need to change. And
right.
It was a lot of trying to be someone that I wasn't to try and get the level of success that I thought that I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's pause on that for a second. That's a big one. So you heard her say she had the encouragement, yet still have imposter syndrome.
Well, yeah, right? Because I think it crosses it does have to do with your upbringing, and then it doesn't, because I think that for me, a lot of the struggles that I dealt with in striving for success was the fact that from very young, like I come from a background where I was very much the overachiever as a child.
Right.
And so I don't remember a time when I wasn't being poured into and when I wasn't being told, you are amazing, you are great. And that's heavy. And a lot of people don't realize that that's heavy. And that's why it's pressure. And maybe it wasn't always external pressure. Maybe it was just the internal pressure that I was putting on myself. But I feel like a lot of women, when they fall into that trap of imposter syndrome, it's because they feel like they need to reach a level of success that they haven't gotten to yet. Yeah. They feel like they're not yet at the place that they think that they should be. Yeah. They're running a schedule in their head that they've fallen behind, and they don't realize that schedule is self-imposed.
Yeah.
Like it's just, there's a lot that happens in that conversation and that internal dialogue that could trigger that.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you said you didn't know what it looks like. You didn't know how it translated in that space. And I feel like when we have representation in that space or those spaces, it's great. When we don't, there's a struggle. Let's go even further than that now. So upbringing definitely plays a part. And if y'all have comments along the way in the room, feel free to just be like that and then walk over there and get on camera.
We have a little hot seat set up over there so that our girls can just jump on and make a comment and ask a question whenever they feel so inclined.
Because sometimes something will come to you in a conversation, right? And you'll be like, and you know what I mean? So feel free to do that. I'll say that sometimes, and what my experience has been with imposter syndrome is definitely connected to my self-worth. I'm just going to keep it 100%. Like it was a self-worth issue for me. It wasn't the pressure of or the lack of who do I, yes, it was lack of who I could see, but that wasn't the main thing for me, because I felt like if I feel like doing it, I'm gonna do it. Right. But I didn't feel like I could do it. And I didn't feel like I had the skills, or I didn't feel like I was worthy. You feel me? There was a worth issue there. And it was because around me, my upbringing, I was neglected quite a bit. And there was a lot of rejection. There was a lot of abuse. There was just a lot of that. So you get in your head as a child, well, I must not be important. I must not be special. I must not be, really worth much. So I probably don't have much to offer, right? And so for me, the aha moment came when other people were like, wow, you really do this good. And I then started to say, let me pay attention to that.
Do you remember my self-worth aha moment a couple of years ago at Melissa's?
Why don't we talk about it?
We had a girlfriend that had like a Bible study.
Yes.
That was going on at
yes.
her house. And one of the activities that she asked us to do, she asked us to write out 2 sentences. One was a positive thought that you had about yourself, and one was a negative thought that you had about yourself, like just something that you replay in your head. And mine were so interconnected with each other, because my positive thought was that I can do anything. Because I truly, and this is something that I know has served me so well, in not even just in my career, but in my life, is the fact that I feel like I can do all things through God and YouTube, honestly.
Yeah.
I will learn how to do
me too.
No,
listen.
absolutely. Like I'll figure it out. But my negative thought was, I am nothing without my accomplishments. My self-worth, and this is something that I've had to actively, and when I mean actively, I mean therapy bills. Like this is something that I have actively had to tackle in the last few years, because I never had to deal with it before. Because I'll just keep accomplishing more things. Like if I need accomplishments to prove my self-worth, if I need all of these like trophies and accolades and titles behind my name to prove my self-worth, well, then I'll just keep getting those things and everything will be fine. But it leaves you in a space where you feel like you always must be bringing something to the table in every situation, in every relationship, like literally as a daughter, as a sister. Like the people pleaser in me was so strong.
Oh yeah.
And that was that tied to my self-worth. I felt like fed into my imposter syndrome a lot of the time, because you always feel, and I am in an industry where to a certain extent that's true, because I'm in retail leasing, I'm in real estate, it's really sales. It's not how well did you do last year or 5 years ago, it's what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
And so you're constantly having to prove yourself. And I had to learn to separate my self-worth from that pattern.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you should be able to stand in your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your brothers and your sisters and your friendships and your husband or your wife, and know that with nothing, because there will be a day when you have absolutely nothing to offer. There will be a day where you just don't have it in you. You're so drained and you have nothing to bring to the table. Do you still stand there feeling like you were worth the same as when you brought everything to the table?
Yes. 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 Everybody say yes. Yes. Everybody say yes. Even though I say she's saying yes and she's going like this. Yes. Yeah. But you know what? Go to the thing over there. Go to the thing over there. I know you want to say something. I said go to the camera. Go to the camera. If you need to say it, I'm just encouraging you. But I feel like what you just said is so big, because I think as parents, we don't necessarily know, we call it encouragement. We do it innocently. Come on, you go for that A, or, I know you could do A, and not realizing that a lot of times we're so projecting.
Listen,
we're projecting what we
Asian household. You come home with a B. The question is,
what happened?
Did you not have the same books as the person that got the A?
Oh my gosh.
Let's be real.
Keeping it real.
And a lot of the time, and I do have to say, I feel like I hit the jackpot with my parents. To this day, my parents are my biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
But that did come with a certain amount of heaviness, because there were expectations, and there were expectations because they knew what I could do, and they knew what my capacity was.
Yeah.
But I always said, my son is 12 years old. I will take a B all day for him not to have the internal dialogue that I had in my head, because
100%.
you don't always know what's going on in your child's head. Because I understand that as a child, I was projecting happy and confident. And like that's everything that I was projecting. There was no way for people to understand. You know, when they used to, if you were reading a novel in class and they used to say everyone has to read a paragraph to go around the class and you're going to read a paragraph. I would like count how many students there were and then count what my paragraph was and then go through my paragraph over and over in my head, because God forbid I make a sentence in that paragraph, my whole day, my whole day gone. Because that's like the pressure that I put on myself in my head. I would much rather have a well-balanced child that brings me a B than the neurotic child that I was, bringing home A's, because it's not healthy.
Yeah. And I think that what we need to get again, because what happens is that child grows up telling themselves lies. And so this is why, you know, sitting down and doing that aha moment with you and all the other girls in that room, you know, tell yourself one good thing, but what are the lies that we tell ourselves? That's a question. Like I just ponder, hold it and let it marinate. You know, what are the lies we tell ourselves about ourselves? Because when I had started this conversation was like, you know, why don't we just move with the truth that we know about ourselves, right? That's what I said. Because the truth is still the truth. It will never change. And I will tell you this, your worth, and I learned this the hard way, your worth from the day even before you're born. Don't let me start to preach, but from the day you're born, let's do that for everybody, because it is Sunday. I could church it up, but let me calm down, right? From the day you're born till the day you die, your worth is never in jeopardy of ever shifting, changing, pivoting at all. It stays constant. It stays constant, whether or not you believe that your core essence, and it grows with you, and it develops and it grows, whatever, but it never shifts or changes in the sense of lessons in value. And our experiences tell us something that says your worth has now gone down here, or your esteem is, you know, your value has gone down here. And that's the reason why you shouldn't do this, or that's the reason why you can't do that. Or look at all of the other people that are doing it. Let's start comparing. Let's not go down that road because we'll be there all day. Like, let's start comparing, right? So the question I have when it comes to talking about imposter syndrome is, what is the truth about you that you're keeping on the low? What is the truth about us?
Actually, I'd love to actually hear answers to that question from some of the women that we have in the room, because we talked about our businesses. And we talked, and so to a certain extent, we have an understanding of what your capacity is and what your talents are in your businesses. But I love to hear people brag about themselves. Actually, that's one of the events that we want to have this year, is a brag brunch, because I feel humility is overrated.
But can I say it's okay. You can still be humble and tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, one can they can coincide. They're simultaneously together. One doesn't have to be forfeited for the other. I think that in society that we live in, we're told that if we say, I can say, ask somebody about me. You know what I'm saying? If we say it like that with a little attitude, right? People will look at, well, she's a little high and mighty. She's feeling herself a little bit.
You love me, I love you. Okay, I know this is a terrible example.
I know. I was gonna say, oh Kanye.
This is a terrible example of 2023. Like the love yourself the way Kanye loves Kanye. That's a real thing, because he said a lot, but the one thing he did not lie about is the fact that he is a musical genius, because he understood that about himself. He didn't say he was a genius about anything else. But did you have genius in you about something?
Absolutely. There we go.
Something.
There we go.
And it's okay for you to say that out loud.
Listen, don't let me get upset right now. I'm gonna get hot. Every single one in this place, and everyone that has any type of breath in life, has genius. Are you gonna go on camera?
Yeah, Nikki's jumping on camera.
She's jumping on camera. There we go. Come on, Nikki. Listen.
You better get it. So I want to hear, especially Nikki Shamoody
is here in the building.
Welcome. Nice.
Welcome.
And I want to get the perspective of not just your experience with imposter syndrome, but I know that you also deal with a lot of women, especially getting their finances together and getting that aspect of their lives together, and
Yes.
some of the fear that can cripple you when it comes to those types of conversations, I'm sure you've heard in your line of work. So I would be really interested to get that perspective too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right over there behind you. We'll wait for her. Let's clap her. Clap her in. Clap her. Clap her in. Clap her in. Come on in. Snap her. Yes.
I know.
Hi.
Hi.
So we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Okay, imposter syndrome. So hi, everybody. My name is Nikki, and I am a business and finance coach. So thanking you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak. Imposter syndrome is real, 100%. Even those who are most successful will doubt their role in the business, their role as a leader. And I, for one, for sure, still deal with imposter syndrome. But when we're talking about finance here, this is a part where in the beginning we spoke about the childhood, the upbringing. I think a lot of us hold on to things from childhood when it comes to finances, depending on what you were nurtured around. And so when people have debt, they don't feel like they can move forward, especially ones who have businesses. Well, if I can't get rid of the debt in my personal, then how am I able to actually have a successful business? And it's really trying to differentiate where did that thought come from, right? Especially when if you don't have parents that quote unquote, what does success mean to you? I think when you don't define that, that is going to stop you from even wanting to get rid of debt because you don't feel like you are capable to do so and then let alone be successful. So breaking down the barriers and removing the thoughts from people's mindset, what they have and what they don't have, and realize that everything is actually made available to them in abundance is the start of the conversation for anybody looking to pretty much mitigate how they spend their money, how they're receiving it, what they do with it. But it is absolutely tied into our thoughts of how we feel about ourselves, right? And so once you understand who you are, go back to what Sherri said, once you identify who you are and what you're capable to do, you will realize that you can get out of debt. You can realize that you have the capabilities to help other people, your family, your children, but most importantly, you as a leader who is about to be able to go into the world and do what success, once again, means to you. So, yeah.
Thank you. Clap her up again. Clap her up again. So one of the things I want to touch on that Nikki said is that you gotta literally, I'm just gonna say it like this: get down to your why. Like, why do I feel the way I feel? Right? Sitting back just saying, well, I've just always felt this all my life, or this is what I've done all my life. That's wonderful. That's wonderful information. Why you feel that way? Is there truth to it? Or is it something that you've just been told? It's projected on you. Like, let's differentiate those things, because when we're actually able to see that what I feel, which is connected to our identity many a time, is not necessarily the truth. There may be facts, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. There's a difference. Facts and truth do not look the same. Facts is the past. Facts is history. Facts is things that were done, and it is what it is. The truth is something totally different, right? The facts are, I grew up in poverty. Real talk. Like, facts are, both my parents should not have had children, but I'm grateful I'm here. The facts are, there was a lot of abuse growing up. The truth is, from the moment, whether I was being beaten or sexually molested or left by myself, I still had worth. And if the people around me didn't know that, that wasn't, listen, that has nothing to do with me. It affected me, yes. And so it took me a little longer to figure that out, yes. But my worth never changed just because someone else wanted to be evil, right? So I think that we need to understand the truth is, Sherri, you're amazing. The truth is, you've got gifts laden in you that God is going to use somehow, some way to bless someone else. The truth is, you're going to have a wonderful life the more you understand who you are called to be. But if I looked at just the facts, which is what I think a lot of people do, of course it will inform my feelings. The facts that, I didn't have parents that cared and loved me, that's going to make me feel a way. But are we going to look at the facts? Or are we going to look at feelings? So I think we need to differentiate that too and really get down to the why. So one of the things that I would say as a walkaway, as a takeaway, is believing the truth about who you are as you are and combating the lies. Because we have them. We've got lies. Nikki says she still, we all do to a certain degree, battle against imposter syndrome. So when it comes, and it will come, So don't do the whole, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to be involved in it. It's going to come into you. When it does come, combat it with the truth. And so that's why I started the conversation is, why do we struggle with the truth about us? Why do we struggle with the truth about us? I'm just going to keep on saying it every once in a while, right? Because we struggle with the truth about us because we've believed the lie. And the lie looks like the truth, but it's not.
I think you remind me of money's the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And you said the truth and the fact. Right?
Yes.
Because you brought up, it's like money's not everything, right? But it's not everything. You're correct. However, it can do a lot.
Yes.
For me, but
Yeah.
for me.
And even, she just said money's the root of all evil. She's talking about how we were brought up and we heard that statement. That's such a great example.
Money doesn't go on a tree.
Or money doesn't go on a tree. But I want to use that other one. Money's the root of all evil. The scriptures actually, the love of money is the root of all evil. So I'm saying we hear things, we experience things, we're told things, and we believe it's so. And then if we really look at it and we look at it, that's not even true. It's not even money's the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money. That's the root of all evil. That's the truth. And I've been taught a lot. So we need to be able to really, for real, like differentiate what's facts, what's truth, and what's the truth about me that I struggle with holding on to. I want to go to this next one though, because we're gonna be breaking for a little bit of a commercial in a minute. But I want to talk about the fact that we're here at this prep picnic and in the midst of community of other beautiful women who are also business owners and business people and just women, period, that just are making movements. It's all about community. Who do you surround yourself with? Now, when you're a child, you got your family, whatever that family looks like for you. You can't just be, I'm out at 8 years old. You can't, You can't be like deuces. You can't, right? You gotta stay. You gotta stay. And even that teenagers will be, I'm eating. And then you come back, I didn't get a job, It's just, it's hard out here in these streets. But it's important that as we become adults, and again, we're now responsible. No one else is responsible for my identity or telling myself the truth. I'm responsible for that. Who am I surrounding myself with? And our people, and I speak about that specifically because she's someone I surround myself with. Like we don't every single day talk, but we talk often. And when we talk, it's always, if it's personal or if it's professional, it doesn't matter. It's always about, I see you and I'm not going to allow you to downgrade yourself. I'm not going to allow you to be like, I can't, what? No, I know you. I know you exactly. I know what you can't do. So it's not just about, let me just encourage you. It's let me remind you of who you are. We're talking about killing imposter syndrome. We're talking about punching it in the face and overcoming it. How do you do that? Who do you surround yourself with? Do you surround yourself with people that actually do see, celebrate your gifts? Or are they jealous? Or I was going to say something else. I'm going to say it. I was in the room. Everybody's doing the I was going to say, are they what my what mama and papa would say, bad mind? Is it bad mind? Are they bad-minded towards you? Are they jealous towards you? Or are they just, feeling insecure themselves? So they don't even have the skills to celebrate you, even if they wanted to, because they're looking at you going, man, I don't know what to tell you because I'm struggling with my own self-worth. I don't know how I'm going to do it. How am I going to tell you how to do it?
And it may not be any of those things. But I think a lot of times, especially because it's easy to say, like for people who very clearly don't have your best interest at heart, it's easy to disqualify their statements. Oh, they're just jealous. They're just whatever.
Right.
But sometimes it's the people that are closest to you who love you.
Come on.
And who want the best for you, who still may not understand your purpose.
Come on.
Because there's a difference between the two. There are a lot of people who have parents who don't necessarily understand what it is that they're doing.
Well,
and they're giving you the best advice that they know how to give you. So it doesn't come from a place of negativity, and it doesn't come from a place of bad-mindedness or jealousy.
Right.
It just comes from a place of not everyone's going to understand your journey.
Yes.
And so sometimes you need to not separate yourself from those people, but understand that people go in different categories.
Yes.
And yes, mommy, daddy, you may love me and you want the best for me, and you may not have a clue what it is that I'm doing here, but I got this, don't worry.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with people, insulate yourself with people who understand and who can support you in that journey in a way that maybe the people closest to you might not know how to do.
I love it. Because just because you're my family doesn't mean you see me. Right? I love you though. right? But who am I going to go to for that support? The people that actually can see me, right? Because they're the ones that's going to say, oh, this is not a blog, honey. This is a movement, babe. This is bigger than just a blog. Or, you know what, you can really sing. You need to get a manager. You need to be up on the stages of life because they need to hear your music and the melody that comes out. You need to surround yourself with because it's really, really important. And the reason why I went down that road is because community is everything, right? Being intentional about who you surround yourself with. We're doing that today. And for you who are listening this way and not necessarily in the room, you can be connected to this type of community and download the app.
So the Pretty Girls Work community is exactly that. I like to say that it gives people the benefit that I have in my own friendship circle because I can call Sherri on the phone and get that energy. I can call Vicky on the phone and get that energy, and we can support each other in that way and push each other in our own respective businesses. Like I know Vicky was talking about her business today. She's in a storefront. 2023, we need one or two more. Like that. It's just sometimes sometimes you just need people around you who have that energy because 1,000%. Motivation isn't going to carry you every single day. You're not going to be motivated every single day. Sometimes you just have to have a plan of action and a work ethic and people to hold you accountable. So that's what the Pretty Girls Work community is. It's kind of like an outward extension of what I feel I get the benefit of in my circle. And with the PGW app, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, it's free. And what it does is give you resources every single day, tools and resources that are able to help you, specifically for women founders and women entrepreneurs, to help you in your businesses, actual tangible tools and resources to help you in your business. So for those of you who don't know how to download the app, we'll let you know how to download the app now. And then we'll be back for the rest of this conversation.
See you in a minute.
Hey, pretty girl. Here's how to download our brand new app. 1. Download and open Nudge for clients. 2. Click I'm new and enter ID, PrettyGirlsWork. 3. Create a free account to access your feed. 4. Access free resources to level up your business and join niche groups for specialized content. We can't wait to meet you.
Hello.
All right. We are back. We are here at the Prep Picnic. We are here amongst wonderful women, and we are talking about imposter syndrome and actually how to overcome it. And I loved the point that Al made just before we were talking about how to download the app. And that is that there are times where people in our sphere of influence who we've grown up with, who love us, who care about us, they just might not necessarily see us fully. And it's not because they don't want to, it's just they can't, for whatever the reason. So we don't hold it against them, but we really do need to develop intentionally on purpose people within our circle and people that are in our lives, that are in our ears, that do see us, that do know what gifts lay up within us and how we can excel, grow, progress, so that when we do feel unmotivated or tired, or when this damn imposter syndrome try to pop its ugly head up and say you can't, then she'll be there to say, no, you can. Let's do it. Let's do it. We have someone else that's going to be joining in with us. Come on in. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. My name is Ebony. I am a certified event planner. So I plan events. So all type of events, corporate events, small intimate events. I also do party rental items. I do partial planning, full event planning, decorations, everything. You name it, I do it.
Where can I find you before you talk to us about imposter syndrome?
Yes, so I'm located in Scarborough. You can find me on Instagram at Sweets. So that's SWEETZZANDCO on Instagram, and then Sweets, same thing, ANDCO@gmail.com.
Awesome.
So what do you have to talk to us today about imposter syndrome?
So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. So I guess a little bit from my experience, I still kind of face it a little bit in the industry with my circle, I guess, a lot of my circles, my friends that I grew up with, sometimes they might not have a business going on or business oriented. And it kind of hard for me to get myself out of that circle or for people to take me in a different light other than what they see me with my small circle. So it's kind of hard and frustrating because I feel like maybe because my experience is kind of what they look at me as or what I think they look at me as, especially with that. The same thing with my background, my upbringing, not having the support or anything like that. I still face it a little bit, but obviously I still push through with the circle that I do have that is encouraging and meeting other young ladies and women in the industry who motivate me as well too. So definitely.
Thank you for that. I think that's key. And I would say, sometimes it's easier to let, space kind of come between you and people. And sometimes it's harder. Like, especially if you've grown up with people, right? Mm-hmm. Or if they're part of your family, again, right?
Outgrowing people is not it's not an unemotional experience.
Right. And it takes you being able to say, you know what? I'm gonna connect with this person, but just not in regards to my dreams. Yeah. I'm gonna connect with you, but you know what I'm gonna do when my birthday comes? So you can just have fun. Let's have fun. You know what I'm saying?
So each of my friends now that I know that. No offense, you're in categories. If I haven't cut you out, you're in categories. I know that if I want to go out on the weekend and just let loose, I might call you. If I'm having a girls group and business stuff, I call that friend.
There we go.
It's family stuff, I know when to call certain people. So I actually have categories for my friends now.
And it's important. It's important.
You need categories for everyone because you need to know who you can. You know that there are some friends that you can't talk to about your relationship.
Come on.
Yeah. Because if you go and talk to them about me and my boyfriend, me and my husband had a fight, they're gonna be like, well, you should leave him. Every single time. It doesn't matter what it is.
He doesn't deserve you.
Yeah. That's just they're just projecting their own experience into and it has nothing to do with you. And it's not it's not a slight against them.
No.
It's just their experience that's informing the best advice that they know how to give you, but you need to know that that's not where to go to for them.
Exactly.
You need to treat your business the same way. You can't come to someone and talk about you had a hard month in your business this month or you had a hard week in your business this week if you know that the advice that's going to come is, well, maybe you should just quit and get a 9-to-5 every single time. You need to know who to talk to about those things. And I'm not saying talk to people who only talk flowery and only talk beautiful and only talk positive. Like, talk to people that are realistic, but talk to people who are on your wavelength, because maybe you go to that friend who you can say, I had a really bad month in my business, and they don't say everything's going to be okay. They say, let's talk about why you had a bad month in your business.
Yeah.
What is it that you need to refocus on to make sure that we don't repeat that month? Exactly. What is it that we need to look at in terms of a marketing strategy? What is it that we need to outsource so you don't get burnt out? What resources can we use to make sure that we're moving you forward? So it doesn't all have to be, oh, you're going to do great, babe. Don't even worry about it because you still need practicality in your life. Yeah,
too much on my side.
Exactly, but you still need to make sure that you're talking to someone who's on your wavelength and who can offer you what you need to be successful in the way that you want to be successful.
Yeah. We have one more comment coming in, and then we're gonna wrap up in literally 5 minutes. Go ahead. Tell us your name, your business, and your comment.
Okay, hello, good evening. My name is Michelle Rochester, also known as Chef Rochester on Instagram. I'm the owner of a catering company called M&R Catering. We've rebranded, and the reason why we rebranded, because of imposter syndrome too, that kind of forced me to rebrand, because I started realizing that I'm more than what I was doing before initially. Because of my upbringing, because of who I hung out with, it wasn't always encouraging. If I came to like a stumbling block, they would tell me to like quit, or they would discourage me. So the imposter syndrome was so real. So I realized I had to start surrounding myself with positive individuals that even though you don't hit your goal, they're there to say, you know what? You did your best, you can try again tomorrow. Like, nothing beats your best. And you have to realize in life, when you don't have certain tools and certain knowledge and resources at your foot, you're going to go the wrong path. until you know better. Once you know better, you do better, right?
Yes.
So there's been times where I would doubt myself. I would be like, there's no way I can get that client, you know? And then like my significant other would always encourage me, yes, you can do it. Like when you have positive people around you, that helps you get out of that imposter syndrome, that helps you come out of self-doubt. And once you hit that, you get more encouragement. And then obviously people start to recognize you more, and then you start to realize that you really need to separate yourself from other individuals. Just like Ebony mentioned, that sometimes you have to group people in different categories. A lot of comparison starts to happen once they see that you're on the rise, but you have to realize that certain things that you used to do, you can no longer do no more. Like I used to party all the time. Not to say that I hate partying, but I do it when it's necessary, because what am I really celebrating when I don't own a house right now, right? So it's like, when I'm not partying and I'm focusing on my business now, oh shit, too good for this. Like, you know what I mean? This is a negativity that I'm hearing, and after I'm like, oh shit, do I really think I'm too good? But it's not that. Like, I always think I could do better, and I feel like if I didn't go to that party and get drunk and can't wake up the next day, I could have had all those hours to focus on my business, to elevate to the next level. And it's so important to just surround yourself with good people. And when I say good people, not just a good heart, but good intentions for others, right? Because we all come from different backgrounds. We all grow up differently, and then as an adult, you have to take accountability, right?
Absolutely.
So, especially when you're like feeling like you're accomplishing so much of your goals, sometimes, like, I know sometimes it's good to brag, but sometimes it's not, like, you know what I mean? And you have to find that group of friends where you can, you know what, I just made 10K on this order, or some people you can't tell that to, because they're gonna look at you like you're showing off, you're being jealous, and when they point out your bad stuff. So I've been in that situation where I got an amazing order. It was my biggest order yet. And an individual was pointing out all my wrongs. Like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And then you start, okay, you know what, maybe I'm not good enough. You start thinking like, okay, what am I doing wrong? But you're not doing nothing wrong. Everything's great. You did a good job. And it's like, that's when you realize that this is just a party friend. Like, I cannot associate business stuff or business ideas with certain crowds, certain situations, because honestly speaking, I never knew I could survive off of my own hustle. Like, I never could have thought that. I never even thought I would be an entrepreneur. Like, if I reflect, and that's why it's so important to reflect. When you reflect, you see the progress that you made, and you see that, you know what, you're way better than 4 years ago. Like,
Hey, come on.
You are way better than what people are saying that you are. So it's like the imposter syndrome is real, and every time you hit a next level, you have to find people on the same level as you, so they don't think that you're showing off, they don't think you're bragging, they're giving you ideas. A lot of people don't like to share ideas, they don't want to see you doing better than them. And I realized that, you know, sometimes as much as you want to be loud, sometimes you have to be quiet too. You have to be loud with certain stuff, because a lot of people just really plot against you, right?
I appreciate I thank you so much, Michelle. This is big. This is big. Like, and being able to know the levels.
Yes.
There's
like, I'm going through that right now, and sometimes I'm like, shit, this is too much. Like, I
what employers are going through, like all these different things.
But
like
being
that.
able to know that and not see it as I'm leaving someone behind, or I'm abandoning my friend, but understanding that you're going to be the friend that I call and talk about, hey, why don't we go to, I don't know, Christmas with the Clemens? Let's go and just have a great time. Let's go watch a live performance or whatever. That's what that friend is going to be for, right? Thank you so much for sharing that. That's awesome. The next thing that we want to do, and we're going to wrap this up, and welcome to those that have just come in. We welcome you. We're about to wrap up Sherri Authentically. One of the last things I'll leave with you guys, and this is one key thing. And we already touched on it a little bit. Somebody talked about genius, right? That we all have authentic genius. You guys are going to hear me say this like a broken record. We all have authentic genius within, every single one of us. Whether we know that or not is the journey. is the process, is the let's go from here to here. Oh, I didn't see that about myself. Now I see this about myself. Okay, well, I can do this. It's a process, right? But if you don't go through this process and you just think it's like, no, I don't want to be flexing on people. I don't want to be flossing on people. They're going to be out here thinking I'm stunting on them. Then you miss the truth about you. And I started this conversation saying, why do we struggle so much with the truth about us, right? There is an authentic genius that every single one of us have, and it's been given to us. There are gifts that we have. There are some things that people in this room can do, like that cook. I can't do it like that. I can cook on my but I'm not making no recipes. I ain't selling recipes online. I'm not catering no events. You know, you can come over and eat my house, but that's about it. You know, and it'll be cooked with love. But you know, there are people that have that gift. You know what I mean, to do that, and that's their authentic genius and other things. But what I want to say is we need to cultivate that in 2023 and on. We need to cultivate our authentic genius. And I would love it if you guys could just walk away saying to yourself today, I'm going to write down all the things that are true about me. I'm going to write down in a journal or wherever it is that a Post-it note. I don't care where it is, right? Just something that you can see. Again, I'm going to write down all the things that are true about me. The things that actually, like, you know what? I call them authentic abilities because it's like, you know how to do things, but you don't know how you did it. Yeah, I don't know how I know how to do this. How do you know how to sing? I don't know. It just comes out like that. How do you know how to cook? I don't know. It just comes to me. How do you know how to sew? How do you know how to do deals? How do you know how to sell real estate the way you do? I don't know. It's a know-how that I don't know how I have, right? But I have it. That's the truth. It's a gift. It's authentic to me. I'm not going to downgrade it because somebody else doesn't have it. And I'm definitely not going to downgrade it because it might make somebody else feel uncomfortable. I'm going to celebrate it. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to say that's part of who I am, and I'm going to cultivate it. I'm going to take the time to be a part of a community like this, connect with other women like this, and talk about how can I develop this part of me? How can I grow? How can I stretch it, right? To the fullest extent, as far as it can go. This is how we overcome imposter syndrome, because if we're taking the time to cultivate and develop what authentically and organically is inside, what we're doing is honoring that internal thing that never is in jeopardy, which is our core essence.
And just to take it one step further, because we talk about cultivating it just for our own, like for our own mental health, for our own everything.
Oh no.
You do the people around you. Like when you're in a community like this and you're surrounded with women like this, you do them a disservice.
Yes.
To not cultivate and bring that part of you and that genius that you have in you to the table.
1000%.
Because people are looking for that. We talked a little bit earlier about the way that we network. And a lot of people think that the only way to be successful in whatever industry that you're in is to network up. And to look at people who are, let me go and try and capture this person that has 1 million followers on Instagram and see if they'll get my message amongst the 300 messages that they've gotten today. Right. You get so much further networking across and working with women who are at your levels. We're all trying to move forward and all trying to reach a level of success that you're trying to get to. Yeah. And you all bring different gifts to the table, and you don't do anyone a favor hiding your gifts because you don't think it's good enough. Because even at the beginning of this night, we sat here and we said, well, what do you do? Oh, I run an organization that helps women business owners and women founders and women entrepreneurs write grants and find grants and find funding for their businesses. That's something that everybody in this room needs to know. That's an
Princess Foundation. Princess Foundation.
That's an organization that everybody needs to know about.
Princess Foundation.
I'm an event planner. I plan big events, small events. That's something that we need to know, because I'm sick and tired of planning Pretty Girls Work events. That is not my gift. No, it is not.
We struggle.
I'm a chef and I cater events. Oh, that's great, because she's going to need a chef to cater the events that she's planning. That networking across will get you so much further than trying to capture the attention of someone who's probably not paying you any mind. And so cultivate that gift, not just because it does you good, but because it does the people around you good too.
Yeah. Well, it's a gift because it's not for you.
Amen.
The gift is not for you. It's been given to you. Listen, don't get me started. I will preach today. I will preach. Don't make me get up in my high voice. Yo, the gift is given to you, but it's not for you. But it is for you to cultivate. It is for you to be responsible for. It is for you to honor. You feel me? It is for you to acknowledge. I was speaking. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be quiet. The reason why I say I need you guys to cultivate it is definitely because of what Elle just said, but also because there's going to be a moment for you to take your big step. And hear me when I say this, man. There's going to be a moment. You're going to be getting an opportunity. It's coming. I prophesied that even 2023. It's coming. And when it comes, if you already are listening to what the imposter syndrome be talking to this person, you won't take it. It'll pass you. It'll be an opportunity that was right there. And you have everything you need to take that opportunity. You still got to cultivate. You still got to grow. You still got to develop. You still got to stretch. You still got to understand it. And then, understand it from this level and grow. That's okay. But it's for you. That opportunity is coming and it's for you. But if you are fighting and wrestling with imposter syndrome, the opportunity will come and you will talk yourself out of it. And you'll say, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Right? I'm not ready. Oh, no, I'm not ready. It's a hard industry. My people, the people won't believe in me. When it's for you, it's for you. And what is in you is your authentic genius. Nobody can do it like you. Let me tell you, I'm going to say this and then I'll be done. I promise. I promise on God. I love to sing. I can't sing like that baby over there. Rayanne, I am Sunray on Instagram, by the way. Reach out to me and I'll work out the deal. But she can sing. I can sing though, but I can't sing like her, but I'm not trying to sing like Rayanne because the gift has been given to me. I'm trying to sing like me. If I start trying to sing like somebody get that. If I start trying to, that's your phone over there? That's okay. It's okay. Just, say we're not home right now. If I start trying to sing like Rayanne and start listening to her riffs and listen to what she does this, she does that, whatever, I miss out on the gift that I've got. And then when it's time for me to sing, I start tripping over Rayanne's way of singing. You see what I'm saying? I don't even know what my style is. I've said this before, man. There's how many billion people in the world? There's only one me. There's only one you. There is no one else like you in this world. And so when you want to start talking about open talk, I don't know if I can, I'm not sure. Remind yourself there's nobody else like me. Nobody else can do 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 do. Oh, la 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 la. Always Coca-Cola. I want my deal, Coca-Cola.
But in talking about that, like every time you start dealing with imposter syndrome, every time you have an idea or a product or a service that you're looking on Instagram and saying so many other people are doing it, and she's doing it so well, and she's doing it perfect. Go to the supermarket. Go stand in the bottled water aisle.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at all of the shelves of bottle after bottle after bottle of the same damn water in the same bottle. What's the difference?
What's the difference?
The brand, and everybody here has their favorite brand
Come
of
on.
bottled water.
It's brand.
Do it like you.
Do it like you.
There is room for all of us. There's room for everybody because no one is going to be able to do it like you. And when we talk about, because we've had this whole conversation about imposter syndrome and we've talked about all the reasons that it might exist and all of the places that it might come from. We don't want you to leave this conversation without understanding and knowing how to tackle it when it does come, because it will come.
Yes.
We talked about this a little bit on the Instagram Live last week where 75% of executive women, so all the women that you're comparing yourself to, all of the women that you're like, oh, I want to be like her, all of those women are still dealing with imposter syndrome. All of them are. Every time you hit, and the higher up you go, up here, according to the studies, the higher up you go, the more propensity you're going to have deal with imposter syndrome because you start looking around you and saying, who do I think I am? What am I doing in this space? So you need to understand how to have that conversation with yourself when it happens. So we've talked about understanding who you are, whether it's the Post-it notes that you put on your bathroom
Tell
mirror,
yourself the truth.
or a notes. I keep a notes app in my phone. I update it every year. Literally right now, it's called Elle 2023, and it tells me about myself when I have days where I don't remember who I am.
Come on.
And so you go into that note and you read about yourself so that you can remind yourself who it is that they're dealing with before you walk into that meeting. Understand who it is that's walking into that meeting. if you
got a
if you need-
strat.
No, if you need to surround yourself with people, we talked about. I mean, I'm just saying this for the benefit of the women who walked in a little bit later in the conversation.
Yeah.
You need to put your people in categories. The same way that you don't talk to everyone about your relationship because everyone has that one friend who's going to tell you every single time you have a fight with your man that you need to leave your man, is the same way you can't talk to everybody about your business.
Facts.
Put people in categories. It doesn't mean discount people. It doesn't mean leave people behind. It doesn't mean break off relationships. It means understanding what those relationships are and what purpose they serve in your life.
Qualify them.
And then surround yourself with people who understand the sphere that you're in. Not cheerleaders who only ever give you the good. Not cheerleaders who only ever say, yes, you're going to do great. You're going to do amazing. Everything is fine. Don't worry.
Right.
But the people who understand where you're trying to go and who understand that when you have a bad day, how can we help make that day better? What tools do you need? Where do we need to spend our marketing dollars better? What do we need to outsource to? What do we need to do to get your business into the place that it needs to be in? We've talked about the Pretty Girls Work community a lot tonight.
Yeah. That
community is what I have the benefit of in my friendship circle, where I can pick up the phone and call people and say, I have we just launched this ebook and it's not doing very well. We only had 22 downloads. How do we get the numbers up? And I can actually have a brainstorming session with those people. My sisters are my best friends in life. I cannot have that conversation with them because they will say, you're going to do great. Don't worry. The sales will be better. That's not going to help me.
I just asked you how.
That's not going to help
I just
me.
asked you how.
So understanding how to build that community around you, understanding that you need to know yourself and know where you're going to be able to make those strides in your business and in your life, quite frankly. These are all tips that we're talking about for your business, but these are things that you already know in other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
So just take those lessons and start applying them to your business. Start looking at your business as something that you need a plan of action for and that you need to be ready for when that imposter syndrome comes, when those naysayers come, when the jealous friend comes, when the parent comes and says, I don't know why you're struggling like this when you have a degree. Why don't you just go get this job? You need to know how to have those conversations when those conversations come.
And the inner dialogue as well. I think that's one of the most important things. I think the external dialogue is definitely always going to come 100%, depending on who you surround yourself. But the inner dialogue is the most important because that's going to tell you, no, I'm not going to stay here and just take this. There's more, and cultivate that authentic genius, man. Embrace that. That's you. You're created with that, man. And there's no one else like you in this world. Right? Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time on Sherri Authentically.
No. We're still doing a podcast. Don't forget to like and comment and
subscribe.
Don't forget to download the PGW app.
Okay.
Yes, it's free. Free tools and resources every day to be able to launch and scale your business.
Yeah.
We've got events every single month in 2023 for Pretty Girls Work. Our next events, and we're planning for our next retreat. We had our first retreat 2020 February, Acapulco. It was amazing. And then the pandemic. So 2024, we're coming back with another retreat. We'll tell you where it is when we figure out where it is.
It's going to be great.
It's Greece or Italy?
I think it's going to be Greece. I think it's going to be in this place called The House. We'll tell you.
We're planning it out.
But I'm going to say this honestly. Yeah, please like, subscribe, comment. And honestly, if you feel like this conversation has helped somebody, please don't keep it to yourself. Share, because we know that everybody out there is struggling in some way, shape, or form with imposter syndrome. Share this. Send somebody the podcast. It's on Spotify. Just hit that little doohickey thing and then share it.
There's
right?
always a share button.
There's always a share button.
Find the share. You guys know how to
You figure it out, man. Figure it out.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Later.